10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, and welcome. This is Nick Bream presenting Let's Learn Japanese, course series for the self-study of Japanese from basics and beginnings up to intermediate and hopefully advanced. As usual, this is a Let's Read Japanese, so up above is going to be either the show or audiobook of what I'll be reading. Off to the side is what I'll actually be reading, which is going to be the text of the audiobook or the transcript of the show that I'm watching. And I'll be reading as I will be playing as I read along. If I see a word I don't know or understand, I'll pause the video or audio and look up the meaning of the word, in this case with the pop-up dictionary called Yomi-chan. Okay, I think I've given that introduction probably well over a couple hundred times now, so that's kind of cool. Slowly adding more, like right now I'm up to the 8th Let's Read book or show that I've added to Anki for Morphman. So once I'm done with that, I'll be up to about 800 words, which I'll have learned. On top of when I do Morphman, then there's also a list of words which turns out I already know, which is kind of cool. But anyway, so I'm still going through that, and I was going to be adding Harry Potter. I said I'm going to skip the Harry Potter books as far as adding it to Morphman. Part of me just like, okay, I don't. It's probably useful because again it is Japanese, although it's translated Japanese, and I'm kind of a little uncomfortable with that it would be essentially having 6 of those, or how many, whatever the equivalent of 30, let's see, 45 hours of audio, just straight audio sentences being in there. I'm a little uncomfortable with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip those, and then so after I'm done with the next 3 dramas, which I think the next drama is, so let's see, it's Rookies, and I think Nobuto will produce. I think those are the 2 next. So after that, then I'll do the 5 or so anime shows that I did, and then so at least about 7 or so. So I got a pretty good grasp before we go in, pretty good amount of material to go through till I'm up to then the going back into dramas and then regular Japanese novels. So yeah, I'm going to be skipping over Harry Potter. Of course, again, the reason why that's an issue is that, again, that represents 6 different series, as far as this is concerned. So it was a big chunk of material. The benefit, though, is when I was doing the Let's Read, I have learned by reading it. So there is some material and words which I learned just through reading. And they're probably going to be popping up, like there's some words that that pop up in, let's say, Zero no Tsukaima, and also in Full Metal Alchemist, just because the nature of their more the mystical aspects of each of the shows. So it's nothing. There are some things I'll be losing, but I think in the overall, it's just going to work a little better than having just one particular series kind of dominate the vocabulary, the sentence sources, the sentence bank of what I'll be drawing upon when I'm coming up to trying to look for sentences that are really good context for the particular vocabulary word which I want to be learning. So yeah, I was just thinking about that yesterday and decided that's how I'm going to do it. Now it doesn't really matter too much because I don't review Anki for the most part on here. But I just kind of want to give a heads up as to what my current, because when I do these Let's Reads, and I've said it's like what I'm doing here, I will be using as these sentences as a source for the Japanese as far as Morphman for learning vocabulary, and I'll be doing that Morphman for quite a while because I think I can build up quite a good vocabulary base using Morphman. Now there is a cutoff point where Morphman's not as effective because it assumes that because it's not going to teach you phrases, so it's going to assume that, hey, if you know this word and then you know in all the words in a phrase, then you know the phrase, but that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes a phrase you kind of have to learn it as its own thing. It's like treated like its own, like a word in and of itself. I have that experience when it comes to compound words. Although Morphman's pretty good, I think, of treating compound words as words for the most part. Anyway, just something to think about, and this is what I was thinking about. Now that may be an issue. Now when I get to the novels, when I start building up to the Japanese novels again, most of them are going to come from the same author, but it's not going to be from the same story. It's like I'll do a couple books maybe for Hanzao Naoki, a couple books for Shitainzu Gēto, a couple books for The Flying Tire, um, and then if there's some other books, I'll do that. And then there'll also be some other stories that I'll keep adding as well. So I'll have plenty of novels. I think I'll be pretty good as far as novels are concerned. And then as far as dramas, well then, hey, no problem at all, because again, I'm pretty good about, like, you know, Full Metal Alchemist later on when it comes to like Death Note, or with Attack on Titan, where I'm just doing the first season, like essentially either 24, 25, or 26 episodes. So that's kind of, I'm making sure like there's not one thing dominating. And if you do something like that, hopefully you avoid the trap of the whole worry that, you know, if you learn from anime, you know, you're gonna have, you know, talk like an anime character. Not necessarily. I don't think that's gonna be the case. It's I'm pretty good about having a variety of sources as far as where I'm learning stuff from, and also what I'm doing with these Let's Reads. So there is that. All right. Beyond that, I think that's good. So I will still be doing the last section of. I will be doing the last half of Harry Potter Book 3. So I will be doing that, but I won't be putting any of those books into Anki. As I might if I, like, you know, like let's say I catch up and I want to, you know, add it. And I think maybe adding a book at, you know, the first book, that might be okay, but not all 3 books that I've done reads on. So that's the limitation, sure. So maybe 1 book, maybe the first book, and only half of that, maybe. And that's a big maybe. What else am I thinking? I think that's about it. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, okay. Yeah, that first book shouldn't be a problem. What else? The Anki books are, what I'll probably be doing as far as Tango is making the decks available. Like, I'll make the N1 deck, because a few people are actually finishing up Tango N2 decks. That's kind of amazing in and of itself, because that's, to get through all 4 books up to that point is 7,000 vocabulary words. So that's kind of cool. Is the fact they're finishing. I never really thought that many people would finish, even start into, much less finish it. But I guess, you know, people are enjoying it. And it's a small number, but what I'll probably means is that I'll get the N1 book and I'll make a deck out of that. It won't be as good as, like, because it takes a lot of hours to, you know, kind of fix it up to make it, you know, because, you know, you're having to add quite a few more vocabulary words and whatnot, and you're trying to add some audio to it. Since I'm gonna have to fix that up, and what I've decided to do is, like, okay, let's just make a deck that's available that someone can use if they feel like it, and it's get a functional deck out there, and then later on I can go and clean it up, make it a better deck. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay. Anyway, so that's all the bookkeeping out of the way. I'm seeing some comments. So I was doing this Let's Read of Steins Gate. There is a visual novel for it. I'm assuming it's a great visual novel. It just I don't have a setup to where I can be doing a Let's Read like I'm doing here, where, you know, if I was doing, I think what's called a text hooker or a text reader, where I would have to copy paste. I couldn't, like, highlight over and then see so I'd have to be doing copy paste, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, that's about it. You know, I like the simplicity of my setup currently. It's not the simplest setup, but it's a functional setup that gets the job done. And I could be wrong. Like I said, I've never messed with visual novels, so maybe it could work just fine, and I just am missing out. And yeah, okay, well, that's life. I can't get too much into visual novels anyway, because my understanding is a majority of them are essentially, I forget the good term, erotica, eroge, or whatever it is. The nukige, I don't know what the is it nukegi or is nukige? I don't know. The whatever that type is, it just, if I tried to do that on post it, make it'd probably get my Twitch stream shut down, and then that in turn would, if I try to upload it to YouTube, that would get shut down. I'm pretty sure. I've seen some channels that got, like, cut off because they were hosting visual novels, and one of the reasons was, hey, it was the sexual nature of what they were hosting. Cool. So not going to do that. Then I think it's fine. Like I said, there's so much Japanese material out there, and again, there's something more than just visual novels, so I'm fine with that. And what else? Plus, like I said, I like the idea that I could take what I'm doing here and import it straight into Anki and then run Morphman. So that's working for me. What else am I thinking? Then, yeah, I think that's about it. Is there any other comments? Yeah, I think everything else is going fine. Props to 4chan guys. Like I said, a majority of them are going into, they push the right ideas. Like, hey, get into reading. If you're going to start with reading visual novels, that's fine. They'll probably, troll and say, but, I say, hey, read light novels, but read light novels to audio. I think you're going to get a really good benefit from that. Read audiobooks to read to audiobooks. That works in my opinion. Now, though, some people there will complain about pausing, looking up stuff. Fuck them. Just do it anyway if you feel good about it. If you don't want to pause, don't pause. Pause. Who cares? I guarantee you, like, every book you finish, whether you pause or not, you've improved in your Japanese ability. And as you get closer to the 50 books, then you get closer and closer to being functional. I still think it's better to read the audio, though, just so you're hearing how it should be pronounced and your brain thinks that's the way it should go. And it intuitively starts saying, hey, what sounds normal or not. And you really want to build that up, because that's not something you can do actively. It's only through, immersion into enormous number of hours of comprehensible material that can happen. What else? I think that's about it. Anyway, so let's get started. Well, same as before, let's get on to the news. As always, it's a warning that I don't control I just go in order of the ranking. So if it's a triggering news story, then I apologize, but it's just the way it is. So if you don't want to experience any of this, just wait until the 30-minute mark, which is roughly when I start up on the Let's Read, or skip ahead to the 30-minute mark if you're watching this after as an upload. Okay, with that, let's get started. Okay. Kizurare. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, somebody dragged behind a car. Let's see what we got.
東京新宿区で
Let me put in earpieces.
交通トラブルから相手の車に引きずられた男性が電柱に衝突し、意識不明の重体です。昨日午後3時過ぎ、新宿区西落合で交通トラブルから男性が相手の車に引きずられて電柱に衝突しました。車はそのまま逃走し、男性は意識不明の重体です。目撃者によりますと、
Make sure about Jutai. Serious condition, right? Yeah, Jutai.
男性が助手席にしがみつくと、車が急発進し、そのまま10メートルほど引きずられ、電柱にぶつかったということです。
なんかやたらといっぱいな
車道とかに
止まってて、交通事故だったらまたちょっと違うよなっていう話をしながら。
警視庁は殺人未遂事件として
殺人未遂事件として
60代の運転手の男を任意同行し、事情を聞いています。
任意同行。A lot of traffic accidents or collisions or issues like that. I don't know if that counts as road rage. never know what really is, okay, that's a 9-minute one. We're not going to, that's 3 minutes, so let's go with number 4. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Subu, that's cranium? The head. Tobu, Tobu, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What? Headless woman? What the heck? Chikigo gawa. Chikigo gawa no Hashimoshi. Okay. Alright. Heads up. Heads up. Sorry. That's a bad choice of words. Just a trigger warning on this one, since it's dealing with decapitated woman.
川に架かる橋の近くで頭部がない女性の遺体が見つかりました。
県警のスキューバ部隊が
福岡県大川市
ボンベを担いで続々と入水していきます。これから捜索が始まります。
昨日午後、福岡県大川市の筑後川で船を係留していた男性がロープに絡まったゴミを取り除いていたところ、
係留していた男性がロープの絡まったゴミ、
頭部がない遺体を見つけました。遺体は上半身に衣服を着ていない状態でしたが、下半身に下着をつけていて、検視の結果女性と判明しました。警察は事件と事故の両面で捜査しています。
kind of graphic. Okay, let's do. Is that the same story? Yeah, it's the same story. Okay, let's read up on it. It's about the same issue, but. いずれ男性意識不明男性の身柄確保 On 666 Maki. Hey, how you doing?
東京新宿区で交通トラブルから男性が車のドア付近を掴んだところ、車が急発進し、男性は電柱に衝突して意識不明になりました。警視庁は車を運転していた男の身柄を確保して調べています。
身柄を確保して調べます。
昨日午後、新宿区西落合の路上で車の駐車をめぐるトラブルから48歳の男性が車のドア付近を掴んだところ、車が急発進しました。男性は数メートル引きずられた後、電柱に衝突し意識不明の重体です。
手のひら台ぐらいの血みたいのが流れてたのは、男の人がその電柱の下でうずくまるようにして倒れてて。
うずくるま。うずくるま。うずくらむ。うずくまる。うずくまるようにして。
捜査関係者によりますと、車は逃走しましたが、警視庁は運転していた60代の男の身柄を都内で確保しました。男が男性の自宅の前に路上駐車したことからトラブルになったとみられ、警視庁は男から詳しい事情を聞いています。
New York. Oh, this is when they caught up another person putting a chokehold or strangling another person.
Stop choking him! Yo, he's choking him! Let him go, bro! Let him go!
ニューヨーク市で21日、
him! Let him go, bro! Let him go!
ニューヨーク市で21日、警察官が黒人の男性を取り押さえた際に首を絞める様子が公開されました。男性はビーチに向かう人にゴミを投げつけ、警察官に抵抗したため逮捕されました。男性は打撲などの軽傷です。首を絞めた警察官は停職処分になったということです。先月、黒人男性が死亡した事件を受けて、ニューヨーク州で警察官が容疑者を拘束するときに首を圧迫する行為を禁止されたばかりでした。
圧迫、強い力で首を圧迫する行為を禁止されてばかりでした。Just yeah, so again in New York, they basically made use of chokeholds illegal in the apprehensions of suspects. Okay, that's New York. Let's see what we got here about North Korea. Sure, let's read up on North Korea. Nothing better than reading up on North Korea, right? Okay. 北朝鮮批判イラかい脱北者
韓国の脱北者団体が昨日、北朝鮮を批判するビラを再び散布したと発表しました。北朝鮮はビラ巻きを宣戦布告だなどと批判していて、報復措置に出る恐れがあります。韓国の脱北者団体自由北韓運動連合は昨日午後11時過ぎ、南北の軍事境界線近くのパジュ
軍事境界線近くのパ
ジュ市から北朝鮮に向けビラを気球で飛ばしたと明らかにしました。
ビラを気球で OK。
ビラには朝鮮戦争の惨状の真実という
先週の惨状の真実というタ
イトルで金正恩委員長らを批判する文章が書かれています。
金正恩委員長らと
また韓国警察の監視が厳しかったため暗い場所を選んで散布させたということです。北朝鮮は韓国からのビラ巻きを激しく批判していて、新たな軍事行動に出る恐れもあり、軍事境界線付近は緊張状態が高まっています。
So an interesting way to protest is send a balloon with your complaints across the demarcation line. Have it get shut down. Okay, what's next? Yeah, we got. Yeah, let's try this one. We skipped a couple. Let's see. Kyo-san. Koike-shi. Oike. Kyo-san oike-shi. Teki. Kichi. Teki kichi. Kyōgeki. Nōryoku. Dosakuse. Dosaksa. Dandan ni. Dosaksa. Dosaksa. Magire. Dosaksa magire. Zettai ni yuruseru. Okay, let's.
イージス・アショアの導入の破綻という自らの。
Alright. 安倍総理の選手、安倍保障、安全保障選択、保障の。検討する考えて、表明したことについて共産党 Communist Party Community Property OK 共産党ウィキ賞絶対に許せないと厳しく Alright Let's see what this guy has to say
手話の導入の破綻という自らの失態を覆い隠す
破綻 So, Aegis ashore Aegis ashore So, 導入批判という意味ならthat's failure
ためにどさくさ紛れのようにこういう議論を始めるということは許されないのではないかと。
小池氏は敵基地攻撃能力について
敵基地 I know it's like probably self-defense and defense against the attack but
先制攻撃であり
先制攻撃あり
反撃を招いて甚大な被害を被ると指摘攻撃的兵器の保有は憲法を完全に蹂躙するもので
兵器的兵器攻撃的兵器And that's constitutional law. Well, basically, the right to self-defense under constitutional law. So I guess they're trying to set up where they can have a military again.
絶対に許されない専守防衛の考え方と完全に矛盾するなどと
専守防衛 defense ability to strict defensive measure 専守防衛の考え方と完全の矛盾Spear and shield. Oh yeah, that's the story. Okay, the spear and shield. Okay, 矛盾する Okay.
厳しく批判しました。また自民党が憲法改正を漫画で訴える際にダーウィンの進化論を誤って引用したとされることについては
進化論 that's theory survival of the fittest れて引用したされることについて
全く考え方も間違い自民党の憲法観は進化どころか退化していると痛烈に批判しました。
痛烈に批判しました。 Well, that one's fun to read. Okay, cool. I think that's about it. All right, let's close that out. So about 6 articles today. All right, so we're going to be starting on Steins Gate episode 6. What are we at to the point? So they found a computer that seems like they were able to actually then decipher some of the messages they were getting from, I guess, CERN. I guess that's what they were going to do. And they were kind of discovering about there is a conspiracy concerning with time travel and the use of Kerr black holes, or Kerr. I don't know what a Kerr black hole is. Maybe it's a man-made black hole is what the idea there is, or artificial black hole. I don't know if artificial is a real good term for it. I mean, I like the idea of, I prefer man-made because that makes more sense, because, you know, even man is a part of nature. So what we do is intrinsic to, is as a subset of nature. So yeah, man-made sounds more better than artificial. Because again, a black hole is a black hole. How it came about doesn't matter. Whether it was just broken off or through a collapse or through some other reason, just maybe if it just came into existence. Well, that's less likely. What else do we have? All right, and yeah, and I guess there's that one girl, I forgot her name already. Amane? What's that one? Yeah, so she seems to be she seems to be some type of fighter, so she's maybe from this dystopian future or whatnot. There may be some others as well. So she just seems to be aware of stuff that others are not. So there's that, which I think is funny. And yeah. Let's get going. Turn down the volume. Cool. Oh, yeah. Of course, if I scroll through this stuff fast, and it makes the compression just completely get destroyed. The video compression, so it gets all blurry. Sorry about that. All right, reporter.
人工衛星の墜落から5日が経過した秋葉原のラジカン前です。今日も朝から大勢の人が見物に詰めかけていますが、放置されたままの人工衛星は依然として国籍等不明のまま。
国籍等。So that's the actual national origins of the still unknown national origins.
撤去のめどは立っております。
What is that? 撤去のめど。撤去のめどは立っておりません。Machine photo da. Just a lot of replies.
Just ちょっとよろしいですか。今日は人工衛星の見物でしょうか。どちらからいらっしゃったのかよろしければ。
I forgot her name. It's kind of unusual. Okay, 2:35. Amane, there it is. Suzuha.
おお、これがおいしい。
あまねし牛丼初めて？
うん、噂には聞いてたけど美味しいね。
生卵をかけるともっとうまくなるぞ。
貴様も戦士なら一人で牛丼屋くらい入れるようにしておいた方がいい。ま、俺も誰もこの店にはよく来る。誘われればいつでも付き合うがな。
ああ、思い出したお。この前オカリンの牛皿僕が立て替えたんだった。
そんなこともあったかもしれんな。
あったかもじゃなくてあったよ。返してよお金。
あいにく今日は持ち合わせがない。俺だ。至急スイス銀行の口座に金を振り込んでくれ。なんだと、機関がジュネーブのサーバーに
携帯禁止。
格好だけですよ。
すずさんも一緒だったんだ。ちょうどお昼の休憩だったから、もう少し早ければ一緒に食べられたのにね。
じゃあ明日の昼はみんなで行く？今度はオカリンの
なんだと、機関の妨害工作でサーバーの復旧に1週間かかる。
お、クリスちゃんだ。
おう、助手、昨日はゆっくり休めたか？
助手って言うな。
お
いバイト、昼飯済んだらとっとと働け。
何なの？
円卓会議？
なんぞそれ。
ラボ面によるミーティングだ。
そんなんやったことあったっけ？
そもそも円卓なんかどこにあるのよ。
実物はない。だが我らラボ面の心の中にはある。そうだろう？
そうだろうじゃなかろうが、勝手に人の心の中に変なもの持たせないで。
マユシーの心の中にもあるかな？
ああ、あるさ。
そっか、よかった。でも円卓って何？
てかなんで円卓？朝を？
そもそも私はラボ面といっても期間限定だし。
とにかく円卓会議だ。真由里にも俺たちの置かれた状況を伝えておく必要がある。
状況って？
というわけで、セルンを出し抜くために我々は一刻も早く電話レンジカッコ仮のタイムマシン機能を完璧なものにしなくてはならない。
へえ、マユシーには難しすぎてよくわからないのです。
とにかくセルンは悪だということだ。
だけど電話レンジカッコ仮を完璧にって僕らメールを過去に送る実験には成功してね。
たったの2回だけだ。しかもどのような時にその現象が発生するかまだ分かっていない。
この前の実験だと放電現象が起きた時だけ遅れたお。
Yeah, so electrical discharge phenomena or a natural phenomena.
あ、そうだ。
What is he saying? Giron. Wow, hard kanji. I might have missed that kanji. I'm not paying attention to names too often. I should, I know, but yeah, that's.
何か分かったの？
いや、過去へ送れるメールでは言いにくい。まずは名前をつけるところから始めようではないか。
はあ？またカッコつけ？
またとか言うな。この法王院教魔をバカにしているのだ。
どうせ。
The Phoenix Institution. Kyoma. I don't know about Kyoma. It's like evil weapon. I don't know. Evil truth. 運が悪いこと。
へんてこな名前をつけたいだけでしょ。
しっけえな。なら。
Dropping of a yeah, that's it.
発表しよう。俺はこの過去へ送れるメールという現象についてこう名付けた。その名もノスタルジアドライブ。
No strategy drive. No strategy? Let's see if it's a word. Nostalgia. Oh, nostalgia drive. Nostalgia. Nostalgia drive.
ちなみに時を超えた郷愁への旅路と書き、
Kyoju. Let's see. Aki and heart. Actually, I don't know that word. Alright, I'm gonna look that one up. It's been a while. Okay. It's frequent. Yeah, okay. Reef. Kyoju e no Tabiji. Cool.
ノスタルジアドライブと読ませる。
わかりにく却下。
貴様、調子の分際で却下できる権限があると思って
ならと多数決にするの。
多数決。A few decisions. 会議などで。Okay. Oh, so basically a few other things at the for the meeting.
ノスタルジアドライブに賛成の人。
裏切ったな、マユリダル。
クリスチャンの言う通りだと思うよ。マユシーはそんな長い名前覚えられません。
中二病すぎだろジョーコ。
わかりやすさを重視すべきね。時を遡るメールだから。そこをメールでいいんじゃない？
そこって何？
ちっとも分かりやすくないではないか。
ここは時をかけるメールの一択だろ上皇。
少し表現が硬いな、言いにくい。
あんたが言うな。
オカリンのノスタルジアなんとかだって長いじゃんか。
ロマンがあればいいのだ、ロマンが。
That's bullshit. Yeah. It's just because, oh yeah. You know a few words in English, so that means you're, okay, sorry. Let's not get into that.
じゃあ略して時かけで。
それでは何が時をかけるのかわからん。メールなのか少女なのか、それともバナナなのか。
てってれー、マユシーも思いついたよ。あのね、バックトゥーザメール。
Yeah, why not? Sure.
直訳するとメールに戻る意味。
Clear explanation. 直訳。Direct translation する。メールに戻る。Okay.
不明だ。
じゃあデロリアンメール。
ますますわからんわ。
ねえ。もういっそのこと略して D メールでいいんじゃない？
ああ、それいいね。
じゃあ決定ということで。
それではこれより D メールカッコ仮の実験を開始する。
カッコ仮も略す方向で。
作戦名はオペレーションウルドだ。
それ
Operation Wood? Urudo. Let's see. Urudo.
でもいらない。
だけど D メールの発生条件分かってないじゃん。放電現象との関係も不明だし。
それをこれから確認しようというのだ。この鳳凰院京間に一つ仮説がある。
仮説？一つ仮説がある。
俺たちは最も単純にして最も決定的な条件を見落としていた。すなわち発生時刻だ。最初の D メールは12時から13時、2回目は18時頃に発生している。つまりその2つの時間帯に実験することで、
時間帯？あ、within the そのうち、タイムゾーン。
再現が可能かもしれない。
いくらなんでも単純すぎだろジョーコ。
試してみる価値はある。マユリ、バナナを。
バユシーのバナナずいぶん減ったね。
バナナまで入れる必要あるの？
バナナまで入れる。
ダル、今は控えろ。ゼリーマンになるかどうかの確認のためだ。さあ助手、早くバナナを中へ。
バナナを中へ。
いい加減にしろ、この変態。ごめんね、後で新しいバナナ買ってくるから。
本当？嬉しいな。オカリンやダル君はね、ちっとも買ってきてくれないのです。
ドジコアピールはよせ。
しとらんわ。
ドジコアピールStupid child. The appeal of a stupid child.
痛いの痛いの飛んでけ。
サンクス、マユリ。
そこいつまでもユリフィールドを作っていないで D メールの準備を。
ユリフィールド。
はいはい。
時間設定は120秒で OK？
オペレーションウルド開始。今だ。来たぞー。バナナは
ゲルバナになったね。
おおついに解明したぞ。
Why weren't they watching where the bin? Never mind.
やはり俺の予想通り D メールの発生条件は時間だったのだ。
やるわね、岡部。あまりに単純で気づかなかった。
悔しいのか。それでも俺に30を送るその姿勢は。
30をめたたえる言葉。30姿勢が。
評価してやろう。
それより D メールは届いてる？
成功だ。受信日時は5日前。
マキセ氏2通送った？
1通だけ。2通に分割されてる。
ちなみにこの文章の意味は？
賢い。
自分で調べれば。
そういえばさ、この間の D メールも分割されて文章は途中で切れてたよな。 遡った時間も同じく5日だったし。
ああ、何か法則性が。ということはあのメールは頭空っぽのバカだということか。
気づくの遅すぎ。
おのれクリスティーナ、どさくさに紛れてちょっと待て、こんなに買ってどうする。食料は保存の効くカップ麺で十分だろう。チョコも特用のが一袋あればいい。
だって実験成功のお祝いだし。
いいから戻してこい。
ケチくさ。
ケチじゃなくてエコです。ジェルメロン。
そうだ、実験成功と浮かれていたが、俺たちはセルンの恐ろしい機密を知ってしまったのだ。前よりまで巻き込んでしまって本当に良かったのか。シャイニングフィンガーではないか。なんだ。さっきから何をしている。
携帯持ってないの。
この法院教魔の携帯は今人類史に名を残す偉大な実験に使用中のため。ここにはない
オカリン、そちらのエロい、セクシーな3次元の女性はどなたでありますか。
ふむ、紹介しよう。シャイニングフィンガー桐生萌香だ。
桐生萌香。桐生萌香。
よろしく桐生。3次元に希望を持っていた時期が僕にもありました。
あ、チース。ひょっとしてさっきから愉快なことしてる？
いかにも。俺たちは人類史に名を残すであろう実験を。
人類史人類史に目を残すであろう実験の。
残すのはいいけどさ、店長がすっごくイライラしてるわけ。2階からの振動がすごくってさ、家賃1万円アップするぞこらとかなんとか。
1万。よし、ここは俺に任せろ。ダルは女子にしばらく実験をやめるよう伝えてくれ。
了解。あんた今最高に輝いてるよ。
マキセ・クリスもまだいるの？
ああ、そういえばさっきもじっと見てたな。この前といい、なぜ奴にこだわる。過去に何かあったのか。
過去には何もない。
そう、あれは8歳の夏、ミシシッピの河川敷で。
Mississippi River Delta? Let's see if that's a full phrase. Kasenshiki. Yeah, the Delta floodplain. It should be.
逃げ出した赤耳が。
何もないって。この前が初見。それより早く店長に謝りに行った方がいいよ。
お前ら一体上で何やってんだ？さっきから何度も派手に揺らしやがって。
実は人類の科学史を塗り替える世紀の実験中でしてね。しかしご安心を、今日はもうこれ以上は。やめろと言ったのに。何をしてるか。実験は中止だと言ったろ。
最後にもう一回だけってマキセ氏が。
メールしたんだけど見てない？
見られるわけなかろうが。
5日も前に忠告したのに。
ふざけ。
5日も前に。
あとなんか実験以外でもオカリンの携帯何度も鳴ってたよ。
久しぶり、岡部君。誰？ Oh, Shining Finger. Shiatsushi. Oh, yeah, that's massage. So bright. Well, I mean, shiatsu is the massage. Masseuse. Okay, I guess Shining Finger. Sure, we'll go with that. Oh.
なんで直接言わんか。
どうしたの？
なんだかわからないけどカルシウム足りてないみたいね。
誰のせいだ。
ま、データは十分取れたし D メールの法則についても大体分かったからいいけど。
何
？D メールが遡る時間については
遡る？reverse。遡る時間について
タイマーの1秒が現実の1時間に相当する。120秒で5日。それで5日前ってわけ。
いつ送るか調整できるの発見したのは
120 hours. Okay, I can buy that. Sure.
すごくね？
だが送れる文字数は英文で最大36文字。日本文で18文字だ。
It's probably because there's probably a reason because of the encoding. Instead of it being, it might just be instead of 8-bit, it might be a 16-bit encoding. Or is it 16 and 32? Can't remember. Something about just for the text. Since obviously for English text you can just fit. You kind of just have to worry about. It's kind of like sending hiragana katakana. If you only had to worry about that, it could be a lot smaller. Okay, I like that. Sure.
少なすぎる。改善したいところだな。
改善。物事を良いかと。改める。Start over. Okay. Wait a minute. Make sure.
きっと大きなものとかたくさんは送れないんだね。あ、もしかしてそのカーブブラックホールが。
カーブラックホールね。
そのブラックホールの穴がきついんだよ。
マユシアン、今の言葉もう一度穴のところから。
やめ
Yeah, he's basically saying, "Hey, can you say this again?" Okay.
変態。
とにかく詳細な検証は明日以降に行う。だがこれだけは宣言しておこう。2010年8月2日は人類史にとって永遠に記憶に残る日になるであろう。なぜならこの日、我ら未来ガジェット研究所は人類史上初のタイムマシン開発に成功したからである。
初じゃなくね？セルに先越されてたし。
そもそも開発したとは言えない。偶然使えるようになっただけ。
どいつもこいつも俺の堂々たる宣言に敬意すら払わんとは。
でもオカリン、実験がうまくいってよかったね。
ここ
はあんたは移動なんてしていない。ここでは空間と時間が入れ替わっている。
イベントホライゾンか。
あんたは空間を移動することはできない。時間だけが延々と引き延ばされている。あんたの1秒は私には永遠となる。
宇宙の果てが逃げている。いや違う、引き延ばされている。何が。宇宙が俺が。
振り返ってはいけない。永遠は無限ではない。永遠に向かって時間が引き延ばされようとも終わりは存在する。
1秒後はいつやってくる。
前を向いてたどり着いて振り返ってはいけない。
たどり着いて。
またメールマか。相変わらずのしつこさ。昨日はごめんね。これからそっちへ行っていい？まだ寝てるとは考えないのか。もしかしなくても寝てた？なんだと？で、なぜメールする？目の前にいるのに。見ないぞ、直接言え。見せるのはいいが、こんな朝っぱらから来るとは。あ、そうか、貴様本当の狙いはこの俺の取材だな。なぜ喋らない？
Could be she's not sending anything other than just hitting send. She's forwarding the messages to him. Could be.
なるほど、そういうことか。この俺、狂気のマッドサイエンティスト。王院京魔の邪悪なるオーラを恐れているのだな。
メールの方が気楽だから IBN5100 見せてほしい。
いいだろう。しかし見せるだけだ。そして見たら帰るのだ。それでいいか？こいつもしかしてただのレトロ PC マニアか？あ、俺の顔以外だ。もし取ったらお前の口封じをするしかな。
tight-lipped. Kuchifu. Yeah, Kuchifu.
貸してほしいんだけどダメかな。運ぶのを手伝ってくれる。なぜ貸すのが前提になっとるのだ。それに本当に貸してほしいのならこっちを向いて直接話せ。
貸してくれるの？
残念ながらダメだ。そもそも俺も一時的に借りただけだ。使い終わったら元の所有者に返すことになる。
元の所有者って
柳林神社だ。
柳林。柳林。Should be 柳林, right? Is it Yanagi-banashi? Probably Yanagi-banashi. 神社だ。
グーテンモルゲン。確か昨日の桐生市？
昨日は紹介していなかったな。マイフェイバリットライトアーム、スーパーハッカーのダルだ。
だからスーパーハッカーだって。
I'll be honest, I don't hear it. So I know it has the glottal stop in there because obviously they're bitching about it. But super hacker, super hacker, super hacker, hacker.
あ、そうそう、それより電話レンジちょっと改良しようと思うんだよね。
改良？Okay, so it became good. ちょっと改良しようと思うんだ。
今結構めんどい手順が必要じゃん。D メールを過去に送るのにさ。
ここにメールを送る。どういうこと？
なんでもない。聞き違いだ。過去にメールを送るではなくてだな。過去にメールを送ると言ったのだ。
過去にメ過去にメ過去にメなんですか。過去にメいる送る。
これは今は失われし古代シュメール語で朝ごはんもう食べたの意味で。
おはようおかり。タイムマシン実験する前にマユシンの唐揚げ温めさせてほしいな。タイム
You know what they say. You can keep a secret between two people as long as between three people as long as two of them are dead.
マシンのことで一つ思いついたんだが。
俺だ。まずいことになった。いやそうじゃない。8号機の情報が第三者に漏れた。
どういう状況？
僕たち全員カレーにする？
食い止める期間にし。
カレー。
知られるわけにはいかん。通話中にメールを送るな。
ひょっとして。
え？うん。
FB。
FB？ ん？わかった。こうなったら全てを話そう。秘密を知られたからには仕方がない。桐生萌香、貴様は今日からラボメンナンバー005だ。
おお。
That was a little goofier than Yeah, the black hole must be really tight. Can you say that one more time? Oh boy. Oh, about the what does Akihabara mean? He's just trying to split up what he was saying and changing where the word syllables are ending. So it was like, oh no, he's not saying it's a time travel mail or something. He's saying it is meru iru, or I don't know. It's doing a very bad job of covering up that everybody else is telling exactly what the secret is in that room. He's not lying though. I mean, that would be like, and she was wrong. Like, oh, you didn't invent anything; you just discovered it, or something like that. It's like, well, a lot of invention is discovery, and then modifying it. I mean, there's if that happened, I mean, obviously that was like obviously super important, and then they experiment to try to figure out, okay, a bit more about, hey, what's causing this, and whatnot. Now, of course, it could be causing super damage, and they don't realize it. So, I mean, this is like a very bad experiment, because there's all sorts of stuff going wrong in what you're doing. But no telling what the electricity bill is going to be like. It's interesting. Like I said, I can see now how it's like a choose your own adventures of sorts. Like I said, I've never played a visual novel, so I had thought at first visual novels were just straight on, just basically like audiobooks, but with a bit more music and voice acting. But I guess there's actually choices involved, so you can actually impact the narrative slightly, or actually have different endings. I'm guessing. Like I said, I haven't played a visual novel. If that's the case, yeah, that's kind of cool. Because you do something similar way back when with, I remember back on Nintendo days where you did have something like that, or on, a computer where you did have choose your own adventures of sorts, where, again, you're doing like essentially text adventure games. And of course, there is the books yourself, choose your own adventures, which could be similar in nature to what this would be. Just a bit more analog, much more analog at that level. Yeah. All right. Let's see what the next episode brings about. Let me just bring this over here real quick. All right, episode 7. So we're about getting up to about a third of the way through the series. Okay, cool. There we are. Divergence of fault, whatever that's supposed to be. Okay, should be able to see that. All right, cool. And yeah, if you're watching this live, you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, it's got 7 people watching, so hey guys. All right, let's do it. Episode 7, Divergence of Fault. So, August 3rd, 124.
震えよ、我が右腕。契約に基づき命じる。
Time Zombie. Is this double subtitles intentional? Yeah, so when I record off of Netflix using Play On, it hard codes in the Japanese subtitles, but also I want to make it, I have soft subtitles that I'm showing. Reason why I want to do that is it shows it up nice and big. So the yellow you're seeing, that's the soft subtitles. Had to do slight retiming on that, but yeah. And that's so again, you can kind of see where it's at, and then whatever. I mean, it's just, I did it for the visual effect for people who want to watch.
漆黒の炎をまといて。
Lacquer. Jet black. 漆黒の。
我が望みを満たせ。
これじゃ唐揚げ温められないよ。いいんですか？ラボ お面になるとああいうのに付き合わされますよ。
タイムマシンなのだ。
横暴だよ。じゃあ
自分が overdance impression okay
おかり新しく電子レンジ買ってきてよ。
そんな金はない。俺を映すのは禁止だと言ったはずだ。
記念に。
とにかく撮るな。よーし、プログラム終わった。電話レンジセカンドエディションバージョン 1.03 完成。これで電話レンジの携帯から好きな番号に D メールを転送できるぜ。でかしたぞダル。
それじゃあ実験再開ね。本当にタイムマシン。
絶対に口外するなよ。
でも店長さんにまた怒られないかな。お、
バイト先生。
おーい、てってる
マイリー、静かに。ミスターブラウンは
誰？お父さんはミスターブラウンじゃない。店長なら出張サービス中、しばらく帰ってこないんじゃないかな。本当か。でなきゃここでサボってな。
マユリ。
これは。あ、光った。
心臓のダイバ手術。Oh, 心臓. Anyway, let's see. We say from Time Zombie. I think I see that you don't have the Anki integration enabled for Yomi-chan. Do you not find it useful? Well, what I do is I'm not worried about learning words as I'm reading right now. What'll happen later is I'll take this, or like what I'm doing now. Like let's say I did a let's read of Keiko and Tekinai Toko, and I did that a few months back. I'm actually taking that entire series and throwing it into Anki, running Morphman through it. So I don't need to collect words. I'm using Morphman in order to just find words from stuff that I've done let's reads on. And the benefit there is, okay, so here's a word I want to learn, but then here's a sentence, and I could then look at the sentence, like I could basically say, oh, and it'll tell me like where in here, the story's at, the sentence is from, and I could actually see the context if I needed that. Or usually what happens is just from the sentence itself, I remember the context. So basically I'm doing it, but it's from something I've done in the past. Is that what I did right now? And here's the benefit why. Let's say I'm doing a let's read here, and I see a word. Oh, do I really want to? Let's say sosaku on, like this operational noise. Okay, so sosa on. Okay, so that's just like the noise for operating something. Now let's say that's a new word, and I say, oh, do I need to add it? So I add that to Anki. But what would happen is I'm still doing this let's read. I would probably learn that word just by reading it in the story. So why do I need to use Anki to learn the word if I'm going to learn it through the let's read? So by waiting a little bit and using a story from what I've read previously, and now I'm looking for words that are still common, still with the way Morphman works. So you're going to look for common words, the most common words by frequency. I'll find words that I didn't learn, but is still relevant in context to a story that I did read. And so I've got a kind of like a dual benefit there. So, and I could skip over words I already learned. Let's say that word popped up, and I already know it, but Morphman doesn't know that I know it. So I hit K. Now, okay, well, great. Now I know it as far as Morphman is concerned, because I already learned it previously through doing the immersion. So that's why I don't have to worry about. So now I'm not wasting time learning a word I was going to learn anyway, because I already learned. I learned it through the let's read. and if it's a word which maybe I wasn't ready to learn at the time of reading, but you know, a couple months or 3 months down the line when I add this stuff to Anki, well, now it's ready for me to learn, and I've got the context from a story which I'm familiar with because I did a, you know, basically I've read it for a few hours, and I looked up everything, so I knew the story quite well. So hopefully that makes sense. So I don't need to, so yeah, it could be useful to add sentences as you're reading it, but now I'm feeling like, well, why don't I just wait a little bit? Just wait a little bit, and then I'll find out if it's worth reading. And the other benefit when I use Morphman is that it's going to show not just a word from that one sentence. I can hit what's called the letter L, and it'll actually show me a list of all sentences that are I+1 from the material that I've read. And so I could pick the sentence I think has the most juicy impact, for lack of a better term. Yeah, and I can even add some extra information if I wanted to. And it's actually quite fast, by the way. So I'm not interrupting the flow of my reading, like trying to create Anki deck cards. And it's yeah. So anyway. So there's a few reasons, but hopefully that makes sense. Is what I'm saying. There is some. If you want Anki integration, that's no problem. I can set up Anki integration. That's not a problem. I just don't need to do it. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Shinzo. So I guess that's fault. New stratification. So that should be a new layer, right?
はあ、ジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンの方が美味しいんだけどな。
おい、毒ペがないではないか。
売り切れてたの。
売り切れていたのなら見つけるまで探す。それがドクトルペッパリアンというものではないか。
ドクトルペッパリアン。Let's see if it'sドクトルペッパー。ね、
OK。なかったものはなかったんだから仕方ないでしょ。いらないの。
まったく、野菜不足を気にしているマッドサイエンティストがどこの世界にいるというのだ。では円卓会議を始める。
つうか窓は。
Yeah, so like for example, entaku kai kaigi. It's obviously that's just a roundtable discussion. I don't think I need to add that to Anki, even though it's a new word. But they mention it like 3 or 4 times in the previous story, and now they're mentioning it now. So that's probably a word in which I'm gonna just already know, without even having to add it to Anki.
けよ初一緒。
何をしているのだダル。機関に我々の秘密を知られたらどうする。
妄想オツ。
円卓会議って。
これよりオペレーションウルドを第2段階に進め D メールをより実践的に使う実験を。
実践的 remains? Wait a minute. Treading. Shallow? Let's say 単に頭を考える。具体的に。Practical. Okay. 実践的。
行おうと思う。
夏は麦茶だよね。萌香さんも飲む？
実践的って何するんだお。
過去を変える。
Practical use of the. Okay.
待って、そんなの危険すぎる。もしもタイムパラドックスが起こったら。
上州よ、お前は科学者として D メールを使い過去を変えられるかどうか確かめたくはないのか。
それは。でも何を変えるの？
いい質問だ。俺が本作戦において成し遂げたいこと、それは
成し遂げる、成し遂げない、
宝くじを当てることだ。
Of course. You know, it makes the most sense. If you're gonna do something, you might as well win the lottery for it.
おかわり、マユシーは悲しいです。
僕は賛成。金があればピシパ使えるし、メイクインにも行き放題だ。
もっとね、世界が平和になる方法とか考えるべきじゃないかな。例えば世界中の人たちがウーパクッションを持ってるようにするとか。
志低すぎ。
過去を変えられるかどうかの実験なのだ。一番分かりやすいではないか。
でも目的はお金でしょ。
黙れセレブセブンティーン。
セレブセレブセレブ17 celebrity. Oh. Okay.
セレブセブンティーン。親の金でホテル住まいをしているような人間に。
Yeah, basically the young and the rich.
とやかく言われる筋合いはない。
とやかく言われる筋合い。
私は18だ。
つうかさ、宝くじにもいろいろあるっしょ。どれにするん？
それは。
どうしたの？
いや。萌香はどこに行った？
あれ？
待て
ー！よいしょ。
まったく、油断は隙もない。
返事なかったから。
やっぱり。
これはもしやスイーツかっこ笑いってやつ？
クリスティーナ、勝手に動き回らないようにしっかり見張っているのだぞ。
見張ってろって言われても。
萌香さん、ラボ見たいの？じゃあ後で案内してあげるね。マユシー得意なんだよ。クリスちゃんにもしてあげたんだ。まずはどこから見せようかな。
なるへそ、ロト6ね。
毎週木曜日に当選番号が発表されている。
I'm not really thinking about that. I'm just like thinking because remember there was also another movie called The Time Traveler's Wife where again they were having some money issues, so he came back in time and gave her the numbers for winning the lottery, so now they didn't have to worry about a job anymore.
そいつを過去に送るのだ。
本当にやるの？
他にいい代案があるのか？
代案？ substitution？ 代わりにいい
当選番号だけどどれにする？ちなみに1等は2億とか。
2億？
待てダル、2億はちょっと。1等はさすがに目立ちすぎる。俺は期間に追われてる身だからな。
ビビったな。
2等は
2億万。2300。
2300。
$230,000。
万円
？3等
70万。
それ
ー！岡部って結構チキンね。
それがタイムパラドックスを心配していた
やつの言い草か。これがウーパクッション。疲れた時とか元気がない時にムギューってするの。でね、こっちが冷蔵庫。今日の中身は
おいシャイニングフィンガー、お前にラボメンとしての最初の任務を与える。
ああ、初仕事だね。
D メールの文面を考えるのだ。何も知らない1週間前の俺にロト6を買おうと思わせる文章をな。
7日前だから168時間170秒ってところかしら。
Well, 5 is 120, so you're doing 168? Oh, yeah.
ふむ、こんなもんだろ。
じゃあ準備完了ね。
ついにシュタインズゲートを開く時が来たな。
またそれほんと飽きないわね。
お前こそいちいち水を差すな。
楽しそうだったから。
は？
別に楽しくなんか。
それにしてもこの助手ツンデレである。
誰？
ツンデレ。ツンデレ。ツンデレ
だ。
Alright, have fun time, zombie.
おお、マキセ氏、ツンデレの意味がわかる？
Make sure about something. Nope, not saying why.
知らないわよ。
いや確かに知ってる反応だったな。
知らないったら知らないってば。
じゃあレンジ起動させるぜよ。
そんなの危険すぎる。もしもタイムパラドックスが起こったら。
いや、何を弱気になってんだ。ブサイカンガルー。
大丈夫？
今のは俺は何分ぐらいここに立ってた？
ああ、30秒くらいかな。
30秒？
覚えてないの？さっきまで D メールで過去を変える実験の話をしてたじゃない。そしたら
急に電話レンジちゃんのところに来てはあはあって言い出して。
まゆし、今のはあはあってとこ。
やめなさい変態。
はい。
届いてる。
岡部、本当に大丈夫？
金はロト6だ。セレセブ、俺は3等当てたのか。
セレセブ言うなって何の話よ。
何ってお前。
オカリ？
実験だ。俺たちは D メールを使って過去を変える実験を。
だから今どんな内容のメールがいいかみんなで話してたんじゃない。
マユシーは世界が平和になる方法とかいいな。世界中の人たちが
本当に覚えてないのか。
どうぞ。あ、ルカ君いらっしゃい。京馬さん、すみませんでした。ルカ君、これ
021218同じだ。ルカ子、お前これをどこで。
僕京馬さんに数字を教えてもらって。
俺が
当たるかもしれない数字だから買ってみろって。
いつ
1週間前です。ああ、オカリンは予知能力者だね。
でルカシロト6当てたん。
それが番号を一つ間違えてしまって。
惜しい。惜しすぎる。
岡部、あんたまさか電話レンジで。
毒ペがないではないか。
なかったものはなかったんだから仕方ないでしょ。
俺は確かに D メールを送ったはずだ。しかし送信履歴がない。過去が書き換えられたということか。あいつらは実験のことを覚えていなかった。一緒に話し合い一緒に見ていたはずなのに、俺だけが覚えている。俺だけが。この感覚あの時と一緒だ。どういうことなんだ。
それ何？大切なもの。どうした？洗脳されたような顔してる。
洗脳。
第2次。See, two-dimensional brainwashing. Where's it saying that? 第3号の地磁気。キロさん。Okay.
そうかもしれない。洗脳されたのは俺の方かあいつらの方。なんだ。
チップは入ってない。大丈夫。洗脳されていない。
チップ。
洗脳って何？
それはこの法王院京馬が教えてやろう。
苗は岡部倫太郎が怖いみたいだね。
String can. Trying to remember what that is. I think that's a Hauser. It's not a Hauser rope. Yep, I forgot. Twist. Okay.
聞きたいことがある。
放電？ぐらぐら揺れるやつ？さっき1回あったよね。
10分くらい前にもあったはずだ。
そっちは気づかなかったな。ないわ。
Oh. Okay.
あんたって本当に変態ね。
Alright. And that happens like I don't realize those are people's names. Okay, so Naiwa. So it's a girl's name. Got it. Okay. I remember that happened way back when, like I was seeing like it saw like Susumu. I thought it was like someone going forward. It's like no, that's the kid's name, Susumu or something. It's like oh, okay. It happens.
僕は変態じゃないよ。変態紳士だよ。
ね。
Alright. I'm a perverted gentleman. So I'm not a pervert. I'm a perverted gentleman.
聞こえてくるって言ったでしょ。
これほどまでとは。もしかしてお前タイムマシンの話も。
やるねかな。
忠告するが。
分かってるって誰にも言わないから。あ、ひょっとしてタイムマシンのことで悩んでるとか。だったらさ、ジョン・タイターに聞いてみたら。
そういえばタイターは言っていた。過去へ行き、そこで過去を変えるとダイバージェンスと呼ばれる数値が変動し、
スイッチ。In the middle. 具体的です。numerical value 数値が。
世界は別の世界線に移動する。その移動の時、変化が生じる以前の世界線での記憶は消去され。
So by changing time, he kind of basically alters John Titor's timeline since Titor's from the future. Okay, it makes sense. Hence the reason why you don't have Titor showing up in the year 2000 like he originally did. Okay, makes sense. So this all started when he sent a message to her, and at the same time when the experiment was being handled. Okay, so I'm trying to remember that. So that's what was happening. So they, Taru and whoever, so Taru was doing did do the experiment. At the same time, he accidentally happened to send the message. That was mentioned about 2 or 3 episodes ago. All right, so that's starting to make sense. All right, so this is all starting to. I mean, it's not so far it's not a complicated timeline just yet, other than the fact if that girl, Amane, is from the future, then her history has to be changing as well with what he's pulling off, because he's changed history, was it once or twice? Or this is the 3rd time? I can't remember if he did it prior. Yeah, I think this is only the 2nd time he's changed time. First time was inadvertent, this one was first time was accidentally, this time was on purpose. So
新たな世界線での記憶が再構築されると D メールによりルカ子がロト6を買わなかった世界線から買った世界線へと移動した。世界線が変わり過去の流れも変わったのだ。ここはロト6を当てるための D メールを過去に送らなかった世界。マユリたちは覚えていないのではない。実験そのものがなかった世界なのだ。ではなぜ俺にだけその記憶があるんだ。
お、やばー。何聞かれても私がサボってたって言っちゃダメだよ。今度は自転車乗せてくれる？乗せる。岡部倫太郎、応援してるからね。
おお。
やろう。
お父
俺の娘に何をしていた。
は？待ってくれ、俺は何も。
うるせえ。俺の可愛い娘と二人っきりでおめえみてえな野郎が欲望を抑えきれるわけがねえだろ。
どういう目で人のことを。第一、二人きりでいたわけではない。今の今まで鈴葉もここにいたのだ。
何？本当か？ない。
約束だからサボってたって言っちゃダメなの。
何？ほらバイト。
桑原
クワバラ
持ってやがったな。42型もつけっぱなしじゃねえか。
ごめんなさ
事情は後で話す。今日の実験は中止だ。みんな解散してくれ。
おかりん。
で、そこの助手、お前は帰らないのか？
ちょっと考え事。
そうか。ホテルに帰っても一人ぽっちで寂しいからこの俺に構ってほしいというわけだな、お子様セレセブめ。
だからセレセブって言うな。
俺はメールをする用事があるのだ。どうしてもここにいたいのならば邪魔をせず静かにしているのだな、ザ・ゾンビ。
その呼び方が一番カチンとくる。
カチンとする。改変され、So he's going to John. Oh, he's sending it to John Titor. 聞きたいことがあります。John Titor might not be there anymore.
恋する乙女が好きな相手からのメールを待ってるみたい。
乙女？
そんなに構ってほしいのか？
メールの相手誰なの？
ジョン・タイターだ。誰？もしもし。
オカリン、実はさ、とんでもないミスに気づいたんだ。
ミス？なんだ？
実はさ、ラボに財布忘れてきたお。おかげでメイクインに入れないよ。オカリン、悪い。
なんだ、マユリか。誰も一緒にいるのだろう。金を貸す必要はないからな。
わかった。でね、オカリン、元気になった？まだだったらマユシーのウーパーをむぎゅーってしてもいいからね。そしたら元気出るから。
ああ、もう起きるぞ。バイト頑張れよ。
ありがとう。じゃあね。 岡部にやけてる。
You're smiling? にやけてる。うん。にやけてる。にやけてる。ジョン大統領。
来た。メールを読みました。あなたの推測通り過去を変え、
推測 suggestion or that's his premise or theory, right? Conjecture, inference, surmise. 推測あなたの推測通り
世界線が移動したことに間違いないでしょう。唯一わからないことは、あなたに過去改変前の記憶がそんな
過去改変renewing the change of path 前の記憶が
存在しているということです。それは事実ですか？
事実です。以前にも同じようなことがありました。どういうことでしょ
う？わかりません。メールによる過去改変など、私がいた2036年においても想定されていなかった事象です。あなたは今回過去を改変し、世界線を移動させました。しかし世界線を越えて記憶を維持し、その変動を観測できる人間など今までに確認されたことはありません。ですが今日はあなたにはその力があるのかもしれません。あなたならば世界を導くことができるかもしれません。ダイバージェンス 1% の向こう側へ。
世界を導くだと？ダイバージェンス 1% の向こう側とは、そこに一体何があるというのですか？
その先にあるのは真の自由です。その壁を越えなければ未来はディストピアとなる。私の目的は未来を変えること。そしてその力を持っているのはあなたかもしれない。
岡部、どうしたの？
何を言ってるんだこいつは。俺が未来を、そんなこと。
今日もあなたに。
It's not showing the subtitles for that. Okay. 救世主 Savior of the world. 救世主になってほしい。
救世主になってほしい。
救世主。Right there. 救世主。クリスト、yeah. Messiah, Redeemer, Savior. 救世主。All right, cool. All right, let's what's the time right now? 1:55. Yeah, so this is going by pretty fast. So it started around about a little after the 30-minute mark. Let's see, did a little bit of jaw jabbing, but yeah, for the most part. Yeah, so it's coming out to about 40 minutes or so per anime, so that's not too bad. And again, I'm not like taking it too seriously. I am pausing, reading up some stuff, but it is much easier. Now, the previous episode, there was that segment that was really difficult to follow, but you know, besides that, yeah, it was a these two episodes. This wasn't too bad of a time for enjoying it. So it's episode 7. It's a 24 episode series, so it's about roughly about a third of the way through it, a little under a third. If I can keep going this, and again, it's about however long you want to think about it. So it's about another 9 days, depending if I just do 2 episodes a day and go with that. And again, that's a pretty good level, because it's, especially when it comes to an anime. Now, when it comes to the audiobooks, when I start those back up, after Harry Potter, see how that works. But I'll try to keep those into groups of a half hour of audio, which comes up to about an hour's worth of reading. We'll see how that works out. It just depends on. It could be faster, yeah, because I remember some chapters of Harry Potter go fast, right? It's like because I'm not pausing anything, so it just is just reading straight through. And other times, like I'm seeming like I'm having to look up every other word. It feels like it just depends on the particular story. Don't let that stop you, by the way. Don't try to let okay, this book that you choose to read, or this show that you choose to read, might have some difficult things. Like it might have some complicated kanji that's listed, or some complicated vocabulary. Who cares? That's what the pop-up dictionary is for. As long as on average it's fairly easy read. Now there's a gentleman, DMG, or Dame, or something. I forgot what he's going by, but it's DMG. He's trying to find something so he can kind of have a better idea of he can scan a book or something and say, hey, look, all right, as long as you've gotten up, you can probably comprehend a good you have a chance of comprehending a good potential of this, because you're beyond, let's say, a certain number of words. And let's say, okay, you're at the N3 level, or N2 level, or N1 level, or N4 even, or you finished this Tango N5 and Tango N4 book. Okay, how would you try to give I think he's trying to think of a way so you can scan a good chunk of text, say like a story, and say, hey, give it to where an average person who has some study in Japanese can say, look at this and say, okay, this may be a more of a difficult story to read than, let's say, this story over here, which it might be slice of life. Because again, you have something that's super difficult, Evangelion, super difficult, and it just wasn't too much fun. And besides the fact that it had that really super annoying character in there, but on the other hand, you've got for me, a story that was a lot of fun, but they could both have been kind of difficult stories, this story here, or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. They may have just been just as difficult of stories, but they were more fun. So it's just because it was an enjoyable story, that overcame the difficulty of some of the vocabulary, because I wanted to keep, I wasn't caring about the amount of time it was taking me to get through the anime, because it was just fun to watch. I was having fun. Kind of similar to it was here, and I guess that's a very important thing. Is that supposed to be a question? K2K White Mouse, are you raising a hand? I don't know. Just ask a question if you have a question. But yeah, and that's the reason why a lot of people are learning Japanese, is to have fun with the language in consuming anime or visual novels or manga or light novels. Again, they're just, or dramas. They're wanting to have fun using the language, and there's nothing wrong, and that's a really good reason. And then later on, you can probably use it for something else. You might have some people, they do it as a challenge and then they regret it, because it's they're not maybe they had an idea of what Japanese was supposed to do for them. I don't know. Like some people learn like, oh, I want to move to Japan and and study or go to college or something. And if that fails, you kind of like then you attach that maybe that failure to your learning of the language, which it's different. Like I said, it's still a skill that can be useful because of the place of Japan is in the world economy. There's that. Plus, again, there's a lot of culture in Japan. So even if you're not living in Japan, I've known people who live quite well because they're in obviously tourist areas is kind of not a good example at the moment, but let's say once this situation resolves over the next year or so, and then tourism starts picking back up, someone who is very functional in Japanese can find themselves at having quite a good job because again you've got a lot of Japanese, they want to enjoy stuff on tourism, but again they're kind of limited in their language department, so you are a gateway by you being that option, then you increase the number of increase the chance of you getting hired. There's, for example, that's just one example among many things. Or working for corporations. So if you work in a U.S. corporation that has businesses in Japan or vice versa, well, as in you're working for a Japanese company stationed in the U.S., again, you can become a very useful employee because of your understanding of the language, on top of the other skills that the reason why you're hired. So it just is just an additional option. It's just another thing. And that you notice this when you get into, this is something that's really big in the military, is a person who brings a secondary skill, a hobby of some sort or knowledge or just something or is able to incorporate that into a normal job. Now, you got to make sure as a leader that you then don't expect everyone else to have that ability. You can't say like that's got to be a requirement for the next person to take over. You got to be able to then say, okay, once that person leaves, you lose that ability. But at the same time, be willing to make use of that and improve the job, and improve that aspect of the job because you have that chance. And that's what now I know that's happened in the military. In the areas in which I worked. It might be a little different if you're, where it's, they don't really care about, how, I worked in the electronics field, electronics maintenance. And so there, each person had their own NEC. So, they were assigned, I had a particular piece of gear to take care of, they had a particular piece of gear to take care of. And then there was still the rank structure, and it didn't matter like who was in charge of what piece of gear, because that was just a matter of being in charge of just a number of people. But they all had different skill sets, and on top of that, you had some people who were skilled in some. One guy, he just really enjoyed fixing stuff, so he already worked into him. But as a secondary job, he would fix, people's iPhones or Walkmans or any other small piece of electronic equipment. And the reason why you wanted him to do that is that kept his skills sharp. He could then be creative for fixing normal military equipment. So that's why you wanted to encourage stuff like that, as long as you make sure it didn't turn into some type of not scam, but some type of where he's trying to make money from it. That's but he did, that wasn't the case, and he became a very good sailor for that. That's just one example. I mean, some people were artistic, so they would just did paint stuff and make the place look better in a way, because they could decorate the place through something other than just a plain white wall. It had really character and something on it, which is cool. Like I said, it makes it feel like it's your place, and that's just be willing to allow stuff like that to happen. So again, would be the same with if you come here knowing languages. If someone who's very fluent in Japanese started working on a ship, the captain's going to utilize them. It's just going to happen, because we may not know what, because again, that's not always you don't always have that option or that particular asset. But if it exists, and a smart leader makes use of that asset to improve the mission. Okay, and that works also, and I can imagine that works just the same in corporate. Corporate can be difficult for the larger corporations because they feel like, oh, everyone has to go with, they want to make everything to be predictable and fit a certain pattern. So going outside the norms may not be encouraged. But for smaller businesses, that may be, hey, make use of it. So just a matter, it depends on like if they let managers manage as opposed to, like say, dictate what managers can do and not allow them to veer off of that. I don't know. I haven't worked in corporate, so I'm technically I haven't kind of sort of touched onto it a little bit, but yeah, for the most part I haven't. Most of my experience has been military, but it's easy to see the correlation between what I needed to do in the military versus what would need to be happening in a corporate environment. Or even what I do here as a where you just kind of go off with volunteer efforts of gathering people who have different skill sets and say, well, hey, since you have this ability and this could be, hey, let's create something fun based on what each of our skill sets are. I did that when it came with the virtual reality, and also I've done a little bit with this learning of with bringing together this whole let's learn Japanese thing, or previous stuff as well. Yeah. This is fun. Okay, this is a fun anime, and now Attack on Titan, that's gonna be coming up, and that's a darker anime. I enjoy it. I really like that anime, but I know it's a dark anime, and it gets darker, even beyond the first season. So this one is lighthearted. Now, Full Metal Alchemist was dark, but it had some levity to it. I don't know if the levity in Attack on Titan, I mean, there's levity there. I mean, Potato Girl, for example. But I don't think it's as much as you do with Full Metal Alchemist, like, where, again, the levity is, they balance it a lot more. Like, you've got a lot more humor, but then you got some really dark aspects that pop up in it just as well. When you realize, like, hey, this little piece of the Philosopher's Stone has dozens, if not hundreds, of souls attached to it, or something, or thousands, and now they're like, oh, and you kind of can get from that yeah, they're doing something not just on something that happened like 500 years ago is going to be happening again, and it's been planned over the last 500 years, sort of thing. It's like, okay, cool, that's made it fun to watch. And you got something a little bit of that nature with Attack on Titan, but it's not about, and it is about long-term playing. You can see that, but again, it's been kind of been playing out for 2,000 years, which is kind of cool. When you, and it starts off one way, and you realize like where it ends up is just completely different. But it's just an amazing thing that you can accept, because it, the author was really good about the way he was taking the story. So it was good. And I don't know, Steins Gate seems to be following that same way. I just didn't feel it with Evangelion. It just, I mean, as far as anime goes, like I said, it's the weakest of the bunch. I'll put it that way. I mean, I don't watch that many anime. I know there's weaker anime. But I was just surprised that this was such a popular anime. Like, I've heard it, I've seen it referenced, and it just turned out to be not that good. As opposed to, as maybe good as into, I didn't have as much fun watching it or experiencing it as I did with these other anime. So there's that. But beyond that, yeah, it's all good. There's probably some other good anime. I just haven't gotten around to watching them. I'm lazy that way. You can just have fun. Cool. Since we're above a little over 2 hours, so thank you all very much. This is Nick Green. Let me just say, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Cool. Kind of, I don't like that they don't keep the chat. I wish maybe it does. I just don't see it. It would have been kind of cool if the chat was kept with the broadcast. I think that would be kind of nice. But there probably is a way where I can do it as an overlay, some way. There's probably a widget or something I can get, and it'll allow me to like put it over here or something, and to see it pop up, like, watch someone do a word like moron, and this scrolls up pointing at my head. Okay, sure. It's all good. yeah, and I might stick with Twitch. I might stick with this over going back to YouTube when my streaming ban ends next month. You know, who knows? This is not too bad. Only thing I miss is that if there is conversation, then the video doesn't. You're not seeing it when later you watch, which could make it seem a little bit more fun. Yeah, it is what it is. What can you do? Call that a day. Thank you all very much. It's Nuke Marine, and I'll be back tomorrow, if all goes well, with episodes 8 and 9, and then just continue this on up until episode 24. And again, after that's going to be the second half of Harry Potter Book 3. Finish that up, and then after that is Attack on Titan, the first season, about 25 episodes there. When that's done, and it's going to be starting off with Japanese novels and Japanese TV shows. First 2 TV shows planned is going to be Midnight Cafe and Terrace House, the first Terrace House, the first 2 seasons, the first 26 episodes of that. So 30 episodes of Midnight Cafe and 26 episodes of Terrace House, and then a bunch of dramas after that. And again, I'm just slowly making my way to the equivalent of 20 or 50 books, equivalent of 50 of these different little series when all said and done, and see what my Japanese level is at by that time, along with the self-study that's going on at the same time. Thank you all very much, and see you when I see you.